Well, that's how we do it apparently, and here we go for another week, ladies and gents.
I keep getting asked as well about doing live episodes. I was like, I don't need that kind of pressure.
No, can you imagine that? I mean,
loads of people keep saying, "Oh, when are you going to do a live episode?" So like fans can interact whilst you're going live, and it's like, I don't need that.
No.
It's hard enough as it is.
We love all of you, but we can't deal with that. I couldn't deal with anyone in my ear. I struggle enough with just like if Nick's moving around doing stuff. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? You know.
Yeah, I always find those ones aren't very fun for the people who are listening either, because like the hosts always stop to read.
Yeah.
And then if they go, "Oh yeah, that's a really good question," and then go on answering it, you're like, "Oh, what was the question?"
Yeah.
Read it aloud, you silly cunt. And I know for a fact we'd forget to do that constantly. We'd be like, "Oh, mate, what was this?" And then we'd forget someone's question, and we wouldn't see it, and they'd be like, "I asked you and you totally ignored me," and we'd be like, "Oh, we're sorry, we didn't mean to," because we've got to pretend to care.
Yeah.
And then we'd have to do another live one so that we can ask the question. They'd be like, "Oh, now you're doing them on the regular. Can you do this and this and this?" No. No, just stop now.
Yeah, that's the joys of podcasting, boys and girls. That's what we have to deal with every week.
Yes, I always wondered why like Joe Rogan used to go live, didn't he?
Did
Remember that? Yeah, he used to do live videos a couple of years back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they stopped because I'm not as much as I like Joe Rogan. I'm not like a huge fan. I don't watch like a lot of his stuff. Like, I've no interest in UFC, so I don't watch any of those episodes. Most comedians he has on, I'm not a fan of, so I don't watch those. I like the political ones and the scientist ones.
Yeah.
And like the journalists he has on. I like those guys. But, yeah, other than that, I don't really watch it. But I know it was, I think, so the legend goes, is that they stopped going live when he had, is it Jack Dorsey, the guy from Twitter?
Ooh,
Something
I don't know.
like that, his name. Yeah, it was him. He had like an automated message lady on there with him, who was like just up with him, and like Tim Pool. Do you know who Tim Pool is? He's like an investigative journalist. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they was all on there, and they were just asking about like the freedom of speech stuff and like censorship on Twitter.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting episode, but then at the end when they finished, the recording kept going and you could still hear their conversation afterwards.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and then they were like, right, everybody leave the room because this is still going. And apparently the reason they stopped going live, like officially on paper, was some other reason, but this tends to be the one that people think is the reason because apparently that's the last episode they did live.
Right.
But, yeah, and it's like, see, even someone who has a whole team and an entire business built like that doesn't go live anymore because of the hassle. I'm certainly not going to do it.
No, and that's it really. It kind of leads us on to the first thing I'm going to have a whinge about. Well, not a whinge. I'm going to have a chat because we keep getting lots of questions from you guys on. I love all of you. I love every single person who listens, but it always feels like we get one fan or another, and it's either that you think we are dirty stoners who sit in our bedrooms recording a podcast, or we're these pseudo multi-millionaire podcasters who pretend to be dirty stoners who sit in the bedroom, which is fine because neither are really correct, but you're probably closer with the first one if you're going to judge us and stuff. But people will ask me, and obviously ask Aaron as well, and say like, how did you get into it? How do you plan a podcast? How do you do? And it's like, guys, me and Aaron, this is 10th episode today. I know, oh well, technically 11th episode, isn't it? And we've never done it before. We've never ever done podcasting before, ever. So I'm going to tell you the origin story of how it came about, because as people are going back to normal and getting back to normal with life, people might decide that they want to do something at the weekend. They might want to get into podcasting. So I'm just going to explain how we did our thing. And by no means, just because I say that we use this brand or we use that brand, we're not endorsed by them. We're not fucking sponsored by them. It's just, it's literally the first one on Google because everything I do is the easiest way possible. So yeah.
If it's number one on Google, it must be the best one.
Well, that's it. That's the way I go by, and it's easier for me. I ain't got fucking.
I've seen because my stepdad and some of his old businesses, particularly when he was a manual labourer before he went into semi-retirement. Oh mate, every week struggling with the Google ads, trying to get number one on Google ads and on Google and all this. It's a thing. So when someone's got the number one spot on Google, it ain't by chance.
They're doing something right, or they're paying through the arse for it, aren't they? So.
Oh yes, which means they've got that capital to do so.
That's right, and they must have got it somehow.
And dead relatives.
Yeah, maybe if we had some, that would help us. But anyway, so yeah, the long and short of it is, it's not a long story, guys. Don't worry. It's I was welding. I'm at work. I was doing some welding, and I love listening to Joe Rogan. He's the easiest person for me to listen to. Doing the welding stuff, and I just flitted around a few podcast things. And if anyone listens to Joe Rogan, and I know we got American listeners, I love you guys, but one thing I couldn't understand, quite generally understand, is things like the Fourth Amendment, Third Amendment, Second Amendment, and I know what they are, but when Americans quick fire reference them, or it's the Constitution, or it's against this and against that, or when you start talking about Trump and what is it?
Patriot Acts.
That's it, Patriot Acts, and what is it? Liberals.
I've no idea what a Patriot Act is.
No, and there's liberals and Democrats, and it's like, if they go blue,
conservatives and blue and red, and what the fuck is a electoral college and stuff like this, man?
Yeah, and it got to the point where I love listening. I love listening to some of the things that Joe Rogan was talking about, and I love when they just have a chat with people. But it was like, surely there could be someone English just doing this. And to be honest, guys, I didn't even look for an English podcast. I didn't think, fuck it, I'm going to go and listen to an English version of Joe Rogan. I literally just said to Aaron, hey, do you want to fucking do a podcast where we just talk about shit? And that was literally it. That is how it started.
Well, I'd been thinking of doing one myself for a few years, but it was always one of those things I was like, who the fuck can I sit and talk bollocks with who will actually want to listen to me talk bollocks? And then you suddenly messaged me saying, I've got a podcast idea, and it happened to be the exact same idea that I had, and it was a matter of, how do you feel like sitting down, getting stoned, ringing each other up and chatting shit? And it was like, yeah, sounds cool. But what people don't realise either is that we've obviously known each other a very, very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, about 15 years now.
Yep. And
one of the things people sort of might hear when they listen to this is like, oh yeah, they've got this little thing going on, this to and fro, they're playing these, characters and whatever. No, this is what mine and Ad's conversations sound like.
Yeah.
Like the amount of times we'd be, like your sister got hold of you and said, I listened to your podcast, really liked it, brilliant, fantastic, a real tour de force, if anything, a triumph amongst podcasts worldwide. But it just reminded me of the old days when I used to sit with you and Aaron in the pub and you would just both sit there chatting shit. Yeah. We were like, exactly, that's what we wanted.
That's it. And it is not pre-planned to be us two, we don't pretend to be, let's try and chuck a funny in there. And, guys, we don't script fuck all. If you know us, and hopefully you get to know us a bit more now on the 11th week, but we do not fucking plan anything unless it is specific, like the simulation theory and last week with Super Mario.
But even then, we're not even comparing notes.
No.
Like we turn up and we'll be like, right, I've got this, I've got that. It's like, I've got some stuff here today, and I've said to you, like, I've got some things here we can talk about, but you haven't got a clue what they are.
No, that's it.
So when people sit there and they hear us go, oh, I've got something like this, and whatever just goes, oh, really? That's not put on. That's us genuinely thinking, like, oh shit, really? You've got something? That's cool. There's no exaggeration. It's just us being a couple of cunts.
Yeah, that's the easiest way of saying it, man. And when did I have that fucking panic attack? A couple of weeks ago when Aaron was explaining about the blind man and stuff, and I literally, genuinely had a panic attack sitting at the table, and it's not fake. It's not anything at all to try and go, oh god, you know, make the drama. Because sometimes I get it, conversations are boring, and sometimes it's boring listening to shit, and other times it's not. So we just do it the way we are, guys. So that is. That's the long and short of it. The technical side of it, I will let people know, because I find this quite important as well. Because people who have messaged me, well, I don't mind naming a few of the guys. Like this guy called Max who messaged me, a good guy, very supportive on Twitter and stuff. Someone I used to work with called Abby messaged me.
Shout out to Max.
Yeah, he'll love that. I'm sure he will. So, but yeah,
of course, he's our boy.
He does love us, and we appreciate all the support from everyone. So, yeah, when it comes to the technical side of things, guys, please don't think that we sit here with Apple iMacs in front of us with, all the fucking top-notch stuff. I literally had this
young Jamie sat in the corner.
Oh, yeah, the sexy tech guy in the corner, Googling everything.
There's another thing as well, guys, at home. A lot of people ask us, like, oh, yeah, it's like when they message us, like, is this the actual host, or is this a member of the crew? We haven't got a crew. I live at home with my mum, and I say to her, don't come upstairs and make noise after 1 p.m. that's pretty much as close as it gets to a crew, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I tell Nick to go, can you take the dog out for a walk so we don't bark if I'm on the podcast? That's what it is, guys. There ain't no crew. There ain't no studio. Fuck me, I got the cheapest laptop.
We're not even in the same building.
No, not even
in the same town.
No, there's literally a fucking sea that separates us. God. But yeah, and the technical...
We're in the same county. That's how crazy we are.
That's it. That's how crazy the UK is as well.
Right. We've got roundabouts and counties that are separated by oceans.
Yeah. Some of the American...
also the same counties.
The American dudes are going to be like, what the fuck, man? Oh, that's a shit accent. Don't kill me, guys. I'm sorry. I weren't taking a piss.
They're going to get you now, mate. That's it.
They will. So
you're going to be added to the Me Too list.
Oh, don't. Fucking hell. And what's the other one? I won't. So I'll go on a tangent.
Yeah.
I'll go on a tangent. So yeah, technical side of things, guys. I'll tell you how it is. I won't make it too long because people don't want to listen to the fucking technical side. But if you do want to do it, this is how you fucking do it. You buy yourself a fucking laptop. I bought one for 350 quid, I think. Happy days. You buy yourself a cheap computer headset. Don't go fucking super cheap. I think the ones me and Aaron cost, 40 quid? Is that about right? 30 something? 40 quid?
25 quid.
Is it?
Yeah,
I got done then.
I think mine was like $25.99.
Oh shit, I got done. I'm sure mine cost 32 quid.
What, they saw you coming, Jeff.
So yeah, buy yourself a...
Well, I bought mine like a year ago.
Oh yeah, you probably...
It's just a standard like gamer headset, isn't it? It's just got it's got the cans over the ear, it's got the little microphone, it shines blue, the little blue, it's got a USB port that you just put into the fucking side of your laptop. With this headphone jack, you put that in. Happy days. And we just record it over Skype.
That's it. That's the other thing people ask, like, what sort of microphones? It's no microphones. This is just a computer headset, but on both our heads, and we call each other via Skype, and we record that call basically, and then put it onto our hosting software, our hosting channel, which is
with literally the record call button as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's no special like
in
screen.
Skype. There's no extra downloads or anything. It's just there's a record call option in Skype. We just click that,
and off you go, and you're recording. And then we host to a platform called Anchor, which is, I believe, a subsidiary of Spotify or is owned by Spotify somewhere. And this, I'm not going to go on about it too much, guys, but it's Anchor.fm.
It's like an umbrella, isn't it? It's got a load of companies under it that it sends the stuff to.
Yeah, and it's completely free. You don't have to pay fuck all to get onto it. You literally make up your account with your name, password, and an email. You write about your podcast, put a little picture up, and then you just upload, and it goes out to... Oh, fucking hell. I can tell you, just off the top of my head, it goes to Spotify, Pocket Cast, Google Podcast, Castbox, Apple iTunes,
iTunes,
yeah, it goes everywhere. And that is completely free, and you don't pay fuck all for it. So that is it. guys, if you want to fucking do a podcast, go get yourself a laptop, go get yourself some headsets, and fucking share a link on the page with us, and we'll fucking share it as well, and we'll give it a listen.
Yeah. Or if you've already got all those things, and you're suddenly thinking to yourself, oh shit, I can start a podcast today. I mean, holy fuck, you can get out your smartphone.
Yeah.
Plug in your hands-free kit, call someone on Skype on your phone, record the call on there, and then just fucking download that to your desktop or your tablet, or you share it about into your whatever. There's a million ways you can do it, people. It's so easy, and chances are, with today's technology, you've already got everything you need to start.
And if you don't want to talk to people, so say if you've got a specific subject that you love, say it could be anything, could be trains, could be bridges, could be collection of old cola bottles, whatever, you know, I don't judge. You don't even need any software for Skype or anything like that. You could literally use your phone, any type of smartphone, download the Anchor app, press record, and you could talk into it like a fucking phone call, and it'll record it and set it up as a podcast for you. So even if you've just got a phone, you can be a podcaster by, well, it's going to be 6 o'clock by the time you listen to this. You could still be a podcaster by tonight. By the time the day finishes, you can be podcasters, guys. And
you could upload your weird governmental manifesto.
Yeah.
Of the demands of shit before you start fucking going all Unabomber on people. If that's your choice, we don't recommend it, because we could do without it, to be honest with you. But, you know, you could.
The platform's there for you.
I mean, you probably shouldn't, but you could.
Yeah. but yeah, you probably shouldn't. But yeah, you could. So yeah, that is it. That is the end of the story, guys. That is how we've done it, and that is how we continue to do it. So no more questions, please, guys. I'll just.
And if we do get any questions, we'll just say, listen to episode
11,
and you'll know.
Yeah.
Because the worst thing to tell me why you're here, because we don't fucking want to, and that's why we did this.
Yeah, yeah, because it's always the same fucking, with respect as well, you know, I'm not saying it as like, oh, stop fucking asking me, but...
Yeah, we love it when people reach out to us.
I just don't like it when I don't like it when people assume that it's like, oh, really difficult, and, oh, is it this, is it that? It's like, no, cool, it's cool if you want to ask, but that's how easy it is. But with respect as well, I didn't ask any podcasters how I got started. I literally just typed it in Google and found it like that. So that's how you do it, guys. Find out for yourself. If you want to do it, if you don't want to be a podcaster, don't do it. Just listen to our shit. That's cool.
Yeah. Send us all your money.
That's it. We'll talk about that. Yeah, fuck it. We got some news in the animal kingdom this week as well in regards to stuff like that. We've got two confirmed guests now. And if they haven't confirmed, they fucking should have done. So I'm going to call them confirmed. I'm not going to tell you the dates they're coming on, guys, because I'm not sure when we're going to air the episode. But it's going to be May, isn't it? We've got what's the podcast? It's Florida Men on Florida Man. Is that their name?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And they're obviously guys from Florida who talk about
lots of stories from Florida.
Yeah,
Florida's a very rich cultural place as well. They got a lot of especially like Miami. They got a lot of like Cuban and like Latina sort of stuff going on over there. Plus, you've got all the other things going on in Florida. Plus, it's also known as the penis of America because it sticks out like a little willy.
Is it?
It is.
Have you done your research already?
No, not yet. This is just the sort of shit Aaron knows.
Well, that's it. And then, we got a really, really interesting one coming up in May as well, which I'm sure he won't mind me saying that he thinks he's going to get a bashing on here from us two, which I'll keep telling him he's not going to, and it's Flat Earther. It's a guy, Flat Attack Tat, I think he is, on Instagram, sharing pictures all the time. He's got a real good following of loyal fans, and he has a following of people who think he's fucking bonkers as well, by the looks of it. And
a bit like us.
Yeah, and that's what I keep telling him, and said, look, guys, you know, we English people are going to ask different questions to what, you know, people in America are saying. So come on, and we'll just talk about it. And like me and Aaron have always said, if you've got enough evidence, then we can change our mind. We can think differently. We can look at different options. Not saying that we're going to be flat earthers by the end of it, but
some people like to call it rational and open-minded. I call it easily led.
That's it. So they're two interesting peeps coming up. Also got another paranormal guest coming up next month as well. I think got to chase up with her, and then we've got a really special guest coming up in the future, which I'm not even going to. I won't say his name, but he's a film director.
Yeah, I mean, if any of you at home are sitting there thinking, "Oh, it's going to be exciting," is someone super famous? It ain't.
No,
but so don't get too excited. But it's a big deal because he was in one of mine and Ad's favourite movies that we've been watching for years and years, and it's from one of the most iconic scenes in that movie. We're not going to go into it just yet about what it is. We won't give any details, but it's a movie me and Ad love. It's a great scene from the movie, and this guy happens to be in that scene, and is a big part of that scene as well.
Yeah.
And all the amount of times you and I have sat and watched this movie together, and now we find out we're going to be having a conversation with one of the blokes from it. It's very exciting stuff.
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, so and he's producing his own films and directs his own films. So
yeah,
that'll be
loads of acting.
Oh, he's a busy boy, isn't he? He's a busy boy. So yeah, we'll have him in the year as well. And I'm only telling you guys because this is what's come on my head, and it keeps you all in the loop. And we said we was having a chill one this week. That's why we're just floating around, and we've got stuff to talk about, but there's no real rush. There's no real rush because last week was crazy, and the amount of research we have to fucking do for stuff like that it takes a lot of time up when you got you need lots of coffee for it. And I'm not even going to go on about our sponsors and our affiliates because we've got something even better than our sponsors. And now, guys, because we actually are going to be producing our own fucking merch.
You heard it here first, straight from the kingdom. That's
right. We are actually going to be producing that. Well, you probably already see a picture of it on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, if you're not, it will be on Instagram. I'll put it up on Twitter. I'll put it up everywhere else by the time this goes out. But yeah, we're starting off with mugs. They're going to be white mugs with a logo design that Aaron's drawn up for us a couple of months ago. Sorry. They're fantastic. They look fucking good. They don't wash off. They're properly printed, real good stuff. Don't know what the price is going to be for them yet because we still got to do that boring costing and crap like that.
Yeah, we've got the admin and the other stuff to look into. We've got to do the sort of bloody storage and
all the crew.
All the other stuff. We've got to sort the crew out, you know.
They got to get paid. We got to get paid. You know, fucking minimum wage for all of us for a couple of hours, and
that's it.
Yeah.
Furloughed Alfie the dog.
Yeah, he's fucking furloughed. We got to get him back or jog him on. So,
furlough because he's furry.
Oh, stop it! Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, we do. But yeah, we're looking at mugs, but we're going to be looking at t-shirts. We're going to be looking at lighters. What else was we looking at? Like tote bags or something, because people like tote bags, and with the summer coming,
yeah,
everyone loves a tote bag in the summer. I've got a few myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's a tote bag? What with the string in it, and you put it over your back?
No, that's a gym bag. A tote bag is like one of those canvas ones.
Oh yeah.
They have like the nice little handles on them, but they're all sort of like clothy.
Why have you got a tote bag?
I've got a few. When I like going down like the shops and stuff, I like bringing my own bags.
Oh yeah.
I've got a let me see. I've got a Self-Made God Records one.
Ah.
I've got a couple of Macnade ones, you know, from the old farm shop.
Mm.
I think I've got a Slayer one somewhere as well.
Nice. But you haven't got a TFTAK one yet, though, have you?
I haven't, but I would like one.
Well, that's it. Yeah, we can actually do loads. We can do hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, tote bags, coasters, keyring. You fucking name it, we can put our fucking logo on it. But we're not going to go nuts just yet with all, because it's literally me and Aaron decided this about half an hour ago that, you know, we're gonna definitely do it for you guys.
Yeah,
so
we've got to test the waters and keep an eye out, do a bit more research on it. But this is stuff that's coming. You'll be able to help support us. Yeah,
you can have a drink out of the mug, and that'll help everyone out. And who doesn't like a fucking mug? You know,
exactly, mate. You can pour yourself a cup of Black Insomnia coffee in a fucking TFTAK cup, and just listen to your boys.
That is the best way of supporting. That would be great.
Exactly. Not to dwell on it too much, but blackinsomnia.com/TFTAK, 10% off. Get that 10% cheaper coffee into your TFTAK cup, or TifTac, as I like to pronounce it.
Yeah, TifTac's good.
Yeah, right, #TifTac, boy. And then you just put on your TifTac, motherfuckers, and we'll just sit there and we'll chat in your ear while you drink some coffee out of us, and basically give a little back, you tight bastards, because we've been doing this for you lot for free now, and we personally think you're taking the fucking piss.
If we're going to be fucking honest, look, this is the 11th week now, and we need to see some bank rolling in. We need something.
This isn't Armistead, people. We don't work for free.
Well, should we do something? Should we tell the people what we got? Should we see what we got?
Let's lay it down.
Shall I go first? I got some good stuff.
Go on.
I looked at two types of things this week. I've been looking at my favourite Russian maniacs is my first subject.
Let's get into it.
Right, okay, cool. I've just basically famous Russian maniacs. I've just found some crazy fucking Russians. They are maniacs and they are serial killers, but they're a bit fucking weird, some of them. So
is it like one of those things where you just thought to yourself, I'm going to look up Russian maniacs, or was you just looking up mental people when they just all happen to be Russian?
I literally saw it. I literally was in Google and I heard a story on someone's podcast. Shit, what's it called? I was going to drop their name, and now I can't help them. Fuck it, sorry, your name's not memorable enough, so I can't. But it was someone's podcast, and they told me about a story of a guy who was going to work, and he was poisoning his colleagues' sandwiches. So he was going in the fridge, like when everyone's working, he'll go into the fridge and he'll put like silver oxide and mercury powder in their sandwiches. And it makes them ill and get really aggressive cancer really fucking quick. And they die within like 12 months. Jesus. And I was like, what the fuck? And he did it to like 20 people or something. And I remember listening to this woman talking about it, and I'm going, you know that's fucking Russian. That sounds crazy enough to be Russian. And it was
that sounds like a KGB kind of thing, doesn't it? Yeah,
you're poisoning people's sandwiches. Imagine going to work and you're sitting there, how's your tuna today, Paul? Good? Yeah, it's really
cancerous.
Yes, and I thought, I was sitting there thinking, you know this is going to be Russian. Then at the end she told me it's in Germany. And I was like, oh, okay, well the Germans, you know, are known for doing some sort of crazy stuff sometimes.
And they've been known for doing their, what's the word?
Questionable.
Eugenics, you know, bad science. Experimental
bad science.
People.
That's good. Yeah. And I thought that's probably the old Russians, but it weren't. It was Germans. So with that, I thought, should I search some crazy Germans? And I thought,
so with that, you thought, oh, I'm a big old racist against Russians.
Yeah, I kind of come to that conclusion and was like, oh shit, yeah, I need help. This is not good. And I thought, I'm going to do some research for crazy German experiments. And I thought, no, Adam, if you go down that route, you know exactly where it's going to lead to. And I don't want to do Nazi stuff, you know.
Operation Paperclip's been done to death.
That's right, and it's like where we
different podcasts and stuff. Sorry, I've just got this image of you and Nick sit on the sofa watching Poirot, and you're just like, German bloke did it, like the Russian geezer did it, and she'll be there like, there wasn't a Russian there, and you'll be like, oh, there will be.
There will be.
This has Russian written all over it.
I didn't realise I was so racist until I was like, gotta be Russian.
And the German geezer gets arrested, and you're like, got the wrong guy.
Wrong guy. You wait.
He'll come back.
So with that, I typed in, I found me crazy Russians, because I'm a racist person against Russians now, apparently. Even though I love my Russian pet friends. Actually, there's a very good guy called George, fuck was his name? He used to support us in the band all the time. Oh, sorry dude, because I know you listen to this every now and then. Oh fuck, I'm not even going to edit this out. I'm going to make sure I keep all the awkwardness in for you. And I haven't even got him on Facebook. Oh, maybe we're not friends then. Fuck yeah. No, bollocks, I take it all back.
Russian cunt.
Yeah, that's it. So my crazy Russians. Let's start with who I've got. Oh, I feel so bad now. Now you've made me feel like a racist. So, well, afterwards, maybe you guys can have a think. Oh God, that sounds fucking worse. After I tell you it, then you tell me if it sounds fucking crazy. Right, Adam, let's not dig the hole. Let's go. So the first person, Andrei. Why did I choose Russian when their names are fucking long? Chikatilo. Andrei Chikatilo. He's considered one of the most terrifying maniacs ever caught. Now that's an interesting headline, isn't it? That's fucking.
Yeah, he sounds more like Italian, doesn't he, with a name like that?
Chikatilo.
Chikatilo.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't really say. Maybe he was Italian. Cunt.
Right-eye bastard. We're on for him.
So, from 1982 to 1990, he brutally murdered and raped over 50 children and young women. Oh, nice. As an adult, he studied at university, wrote articles, worked as a teacher, and had a seemingly normal family where there were few signs he would become a serial killer. Well, I'm not being funny, but what sort of signs do you need if you're going to kill fucking women and kids? I mean, that's... Anyway.
That's a quality I don't hear from people a lot of the time. Like when you meet someone new and like, oh, what they like? Oh, yeah, really nice, yeah. Assumedly normal family. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I've never thought of it like that. It was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's very normal. Oh, right, okay, cool. That makes him sound like a fucking nutcase then.
Oh, yes. Has a clock in his front room and everything.
Yeah, he's got 2 armchairs in his living room and all.
Yep, they're pointed straight at the telly. No nonsense.
Psycho.
Yeah.
Must be a paedophile. So,
or Russian.
Or Russian, apparently. So, this guy murdered his first victims in the late 1970s and laid low for some time. Soon, I'm going to call him Andre. Andre found work that allowed him to go on to long business trips across the USSR. He searched for victims in different cities, making it hard to connect his heinous crimes. He usually lured his child victims into woods by promising them sweets or seeing a movie before raping and killing them.
Right. That's normally the way they do it, isn't it?
Now, I was a fat kid. I don't think I'd ever go with anyone if they said, would you like some sweets in the woods? Maybe that's got to be a bit of the parenting sorted out there, guys. You know, not judging you over there, but, you know.
This is the thing. Because I remember when I was a kid, and looking back, it was like that guy blatantly wanted to molest me. But when I was younger, me and a friend were walking home from school, and this bloke said he needed help with his something in his shed. As we were walking past, he goes, you two look like 2 strong lads. Oh, I need something moving in my shed. And we were like, oh, sorry, we're not allowed. And they were like, oh, it's all right, I've got... And it goes, do you like bootlaces? I'll give, like, licorice bootlaces.
Yeah.
It's like, if you help me move these bits, we'll, you can have as many as you want. And we was like, oh, no, thanks, I've got to get home because of dinner and stuff. So we walked off and we were just like, oh, we didn't really think much of it. But, like, all these years later, it's like, that bloke blatantly wanted to rape us.
Yeah, but he probably did.
Yeah.
Because why would a grown man ever ask a child for help?
Yeah. But even back then, we were like, even though we had to get home, it was like, it's still a stranger's house. This is weird.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know.
This was like walking down the road, like, this is like Whitstable Road, you know what I mean, opposite the wreck.
Right, yeah.
And we were like, there was people everywhere on the school run, everything. We were like, yeah, no, not happening. If I was walking around and there was some bloke I didn't know by the woods saying, oh, come into the woods with me, there's sweets and we'll watch a film. One, I would think there's no sweet shop in the woods, so that's a lie. And if he's got sweets on him, why can't I just have them now? Yeah. Secondly, how are we going to watch a film in the woods?
So we're not... So to not go too far and dig our own hole so we get banned, we're probably putting it down to stupid kids then.
Sexy stupid kids by the sound of it.
Apparently, yeah.
This is the problem, mate. Some of these kids are bimbos. The ugly ones never get ranked. Because they've got book smarts.
Well, God, fucking hell.
And if you was a nonce, you wouldn't want an ugly kid, would you?
God, I can just feel the ban coming. I can just feel it. Oh, fucking... We won't be having a 20th Spectacular episode, guys, because Aaron got us banned.
Well, I'm just speculating on this one, if you was a... And also, that's another thing as well when it comes to nonces. The ones when they go after little boys, does that make them gay?
I never understood that.
Because if you're going for a boy, you've got to be gay as well, haven't you?
Yeah, regardless of
Well,
age.
he's got a willy and stuff. So there's got to be gay pedos as well.
Yeah.
Because I think the majority of those kids that got like diddled under the like Catholic Church, I think the majority. I mean, there was a lot of girls, but I think like the majority was boys.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
So
he'd lead him back to the woods, would he?
So he leads out to the woods. It gets worse than that. He often cut off parts of their bodies and ate them. Andre also often covered or removed the eyes of his victims. During the crime, I covered her eyes with a scarf because I was frightened of the stare. He later confessed this about his first victim. Chikatilo believed that the last visions before death stayed in the eyes of the victim, and took the eyes with him to ensure he was not suspected. So he pulled the fucking eyes out of the kids afterwards because he thought it was.
So he assumed that like these people could get the eyes, like cut it open, look inside, and be like, "Oh look, there he is. Let's go arrest him."
Yeah, they think it's like an imprint. He believed there was an imprint in your eyes of the last thing you saw, and he didn't want it to be him, so he took the eyes out.
Well, you've gone this far. It's best to be safe than sorry, isn't it? I mean, at this point, taking eyeballs doesn't make me think of you any less.
Yeah, you don't go.
I mean, up until this point, abducting, killing, torturing, and raping children's for nothing. But you took their eyes, you sick bastard.
Monster. Put him away.
Yeah. Bloody hell's wrong with you?
Yes,
yeah. He sounds a bit off, isn't that?
Yeah, and basically the chief investigator on his case said, I don't think he's mentally ill. He had some deviations, but was completely sane. He was just impotent, and that's what drove him mad. Sorry?
He couldn't get it up. So he thought, oh God, I could take Viagra or rape and torture and murder kids.
This is precisely my point of why they're called Russian maniacs, I think, because that's a bit fucking... Well,
the thing is as well with Russia as well, and sorry Russia, I'm dropping you in it. When Citizen X was running around murdering people, the Russian government covered it up completely, saying it never happened, because serial killers is a very American thing to happen. We're more dignified than that. Which is why a lot of these things get brushed under the carpet as, oh, it's not that bad. Oh, we don't have insane people. Everyone who lives here is happy. It's just they've been influenced by Americans or stuff like that. So that happens a lot over there. It's like with the whole Chernobyl thing.
Yeah.
Like hundreds of people, maybe even thousands, were affected and killed by this radiation. But on their official docket, I think they said only something like 13 people died.
Yeah, that's the one. Something like that.
Yeah, they literally, anything that's bad press, they're like, no, it's not as bad as all that. It's just the media blowing it up.
They had underlying health conditions. Sorry. They all had underlying health conditions, guys. That's what we said. End of. That's it. So yeah, that was our first crazy one. Andre Chikatilo, whatever his fucking name was. But we do get some more. I've got another couple here for you.
But if he was the front runner.
Well, yeah, they do get. I think he was quite good. I think we might have peaked a little bit too early because he's quite good. But, however, we've got one that I know you're going to recognise the name of. Old Pikachu Skin.
Old Alexander Pikachu Skin boy.
That's the one. Dubbed the Bicester Park maniac, Alexander Pichushkin carried out his murders inside and around Moscow's Bicester Park. And this is what he quotes. The first murder is like your first love. You can never forget it. Pichushkin later said during his interrogation, he first murdered his classmate when he was 18. During that time, the SSR was fixated on the Chikatilo trial, so the guy I just said. And Pichushkin later confessed that Chikatilo's fame drove him to kill more. He began his killing spree.
Yeah, because he wanted to... So I remember rightly, when he was younger, like you say, when he was in school, when he did his first murder at 18, that was when he wanted to go on his own murder spree, wasn't it? And his mate was like, yeah, let's do it. And then when they got out to the woods, he was like, you're not actually serious, are you? And that's when like old Pikachu Skin was like, well, not take me seriously then. And then he offed his mate there and then.
Yeah. But he was weird. We done a bit of research on this guy because we were going to do it before. But I remember even him as a kid, he would like when he was like 12 or 13, he would get like 6-year-olds, bind them in ropes and stuff, and hang them upside down from play equipment in the park for hours, like for all day when people are at school and shit like that. It's like he was fucked up anyway. He was
something like that. You've got to have a go at the teachers, haven't you?
You got to have a go at someone.
Yeah, because if they're being left on the play equipment all day and no one's gone over there to help them down, well, I think the teachers are a part of the blame with that as well. Well, he stood there looking, going, he's still upside down, look.
He's still there. He's still. Yeah. Are you going to do anything? No.
We'll just blame that little psycho years later. We'll say it was him.
Oh, poor old Pikachu Skin. Yeah. So, he offered local people, including some of his acquaintances, to drink in the woods. So once again, they're dragging them to the woods. After they become drunk, Pichuskin killed them. His trademark was hitting his victims in the head with a heavy object before stuffing branches, broken bottles, or garbage, and finally, even the shared bottle they were drinking out of, into the wound. This was to ensure they were in fact dead.
Cracking them with hammers, wasn't it?
Yeah, usually a hammer, wasn't it?
Yeah, hammer to the back of the head, open it up, and they shove the sticks or the like bottles or anything that's nearby, just ram it into the back of the head or through the hole. It's like fucking vodka bottle sticking out the back of their fucking head. So something good to take from this is that anybody listening, if a stranger offers you something that sounds too good to be true in the woods, chances are it is too good to be true, and just fucking leave.
And that's it.
Maybe tell an adult while you're there.
Yeah. These are life skills we're like, letting people know nowadays. Because we don't want any of you to die. We need your numbers. We need our merch. We're just fucking bringing the merch out today. We need you. So don't go into the woods with anyone, please. So
if you do, make sure you're wearing a Tales from the Animal Kingdom t-shirt.
That's right.
So when they find you and you're on the headlines on the next day, boom, we've got a free advert right there.
Fucking front page of the news, Daily Mail, all that shit. We are laughing, boy.
Yeah, mate. I mean, it's all in Russian, so we can't read it, but fucking mate, brilliant.
Well, we might be lucky. Some of our UK fans might get abducted. Not killed, Yeah.
Pure drama queens.
So careful.
Yeah.
So, some of those lucky enough to escape Pichuskin helped the police create an image of the criminal. Most of his victims were adult men. Oh, of course, free bottle of beer in the woods. Fucking hell, we're so easily led. Pichuskin said that some of them realised they would be killed before he murdered them. One victim apparently even expressed a wish to be killed. Pichuskin was arrested in 2006, where he stupidly killed a woman, and knowing that she left his name and number with her family before meeting him.
And he went and met her at the train station where there was CCTV everywhere, which is how they found him.
Yeah.
But what's funny though, when they arrested him, they thought he was just like responsible for this one murder. They were like, "Oh, we've got the bloke who killed that woman. Brilliant." And then they started chatting to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I've actually killed like near 60 people. I'm the park butcher you've been fucking looking for these past like 25 years."
Yeah, and he basically, that basically.
Didn't he take him around the woods as well, going, "Yeah, I killed one there, I killed one there, killed one there," and then they like dug him up and were like, "Oh shit, he's not lying."
Yeah. he told the police that after his arrest of 48 people and identified them with him. I'm not being funny.
Because wasn't it in court? It was officially 48 because that's how many they could find. But he said that there was at least 12 more.
Yeah. I remember being
because he used to stick a lot of them in the tunnels, didn't they? But of course, before he started burying them, he used to dump them in the tunnels so he wouldn't get caught, and they would of course get washed away in the underground like ravines and like aqueducts and stuff that would just go through the town. And of course, these bodies would just randomly appear, and it wasn't him who killed them as such. It was the tunnels like drowning and getting bashed about that killed them. So there was no cause of death.
Yeah, that's it.
But these like 12 of these ones he could pick out saying, yeah, these ones that you didn't know, I actually did kill them. But because there's no evidence, they can't officially put it down. So he's got 48 confirmed kills, 60,
60
alleged.
So he was a bit of a crazy cat.
Well, they were saying, like, because he started off doing it with the underground tunnels because it was a sure way not to get caught. But they said him burying him in the woods was eventually his way of saying, look, I'm trying to get caught now so I can show off to the world everything I've got. Because, like you said, he wanted that fame. That old Tricky Chipotle ad, whatever his fucking name was.
Andre, yeah. But that's the thing, though. Lots of serial killers do that, don't they? They get to a point and then they get really lazy and then they almost want to be found out and want the fame of being that person.
Yeah, they want that attention, don't they? It's like they was on that Petrushkin guy. He was like during the trial, he was in a bulletproof cage type thing. But they said he was just pacing up and down and trying to look as evil as possible. It's like he was fucking loving it.
Yeah.
He just wanted that attention. They said we kind of wish the room was empty, but it had hundreds of. Yeah. I mean, it was at the time. It was like Russia's most notorious serial killer. Of course, there was going to be crazy else. But what's funny as well is that they could have caught him ages ago because one of the women who got arrested was hospitalised. She survived the tunnel. She was pregnant as well. She got dumped down this tunnel. She survived it. Was beaten bad and was ended up in hospital. She was the copper turned up, walked in, was like, oh yeah, what was the bloke? What does he look like? She gave a full description of him, told the guy where he lived, and told him his full name. And this was a good 12 years before he got caught, and the policeman on the way out just went, seems like too much hard work, and didn't bother. And then fucking scores of people got murdered afterwards because this policeman just couldn't be asked. He was like, oh, it's just some crazy pregnant woman talking mad is trying to get attention probably, fuck it.
It's Friday afternoon, I want to go home, or I've got to do all this paperwork. Oh, fuck this.
I've got a bunch of people to kill myself, you know what I mean? I ain't got time for this nonsense.
So, moving on to our next one. For fuck's sake. I'm trying to find out his first name quick, because he's got the stupidest fucking... Okay, it's Speziv. He's going to be called Spez now because it's too long. So it's a guy called Spez, and I've only got his last name, not his fucking first name. So basically, when this Spez guy was a child, his mother is an assistant to an attorney, used to bring home photos of corpses and show them to her son. Until the age of 12. Yeah, as you would do, I would assume. Yeah, son, do you want to play with your toys? And, oh, here's one we had. Jumped on a train track. Oh, nice one. Cheers, Mum. Until the age 12, he slept in the same bed with his mother. At 18, he was treated in a mental institution. In 1991, he started a relationship with a girl, but he didn't take it too well when she decided to break up with him. So Spezstev...
See, already, you got to this point where it's he was in bed, he was showing pictures of dead bodies as a kid, and he shared his bed with his mum till he was 12. That already is raising a lot of red flags with me. Yeah,
and he was in a mental institution at 18.
Yeah, this is taking some serious steps.
Well, yeah.
So did you say it was 91 when he got the girlfriend?
Yep, 91.
So was that when? How old was he then? Was this before the mental house or afterwards?
I never got his age there. Hang on. Here we go. It was declared insane, put into asylum.
Because if the girlfriend was before the mental institution, then we could probably cut this guy some slack.
It was before.
Oh wow! No wonder he was in there.
Bloody hell! Yeah, so this
women.
Yeah, and this is so. In 1991, he started a relationship with a girl, but he didn't take too well when she decided to break up with him. Spevstev locked the girl in his flat and tortured her for 3 weeks. When the police discovered her, she was already severely maimed and later died in hospital. Spezstev was declared insane and put into the asylum for 3 years. So that's when he went into the asylum after the woman. After he was declared sane, he returned home in 1995. So he could continue his...
guys? Remember when I tortured and murdered that woman?
3 weeks of torture. Torture.
Absolutely mad. So what have you guys been up to? Anything else?
So what have you been up to, man? All good?
Yeah.
We're not talking to you anymore. You're a fucking murderer. No, I'm not. I'm a torturer. I didn't kill her.
Yeah, I've paid my dues.
I've done it for years. Guys,
Yeah,
come on.
haven't you heard? I was mental.
But I'm good now. Let's have a look. So he's out of the mental hospital now, and Spestev lured people home using different reasons. Oh, here we go. Sometimes
Hold on, I thought you said he was sane.
well, all I said was he was luring people home. Does that make people insane? Let's read on. Let's see.
I think the word lure does.
Yeah, invited home sounds better than lured.
Yeah. If it's, he invited people home, I'll be like, yeah, sounds about right. When someone says, oh, yeah, some guys are luring people home, I'll be like, ooh.
Would you like a beer at my house? Yeah, that sounds good. Would you like a beer around mine? And then die.
But the only thing is, I don't actually know what the word lure means. So to me, whenever I think of like luring, I think of you just walking a few steps ahead while smiling and wagging your fingers at them. You know, like when you were kids, like when a weird witch would go into the woods, going, the kids would walk. But to me, I think that's luring. But if there was some bloke sort of like beckoning me with his fingers to like follow him somewhere, I'd be like, fuck off.
Yeah, because that's what you think, isn't it?
You weird lurer.
Lure is a temptation, an animal, person or object, or to do something or to go somewhere, especially by offering some form of reward. So come round mine, I'll give you some sweets. Yeah. And people are,
so is luring basically grooming?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
But also, like, you know, it says
you don't show your whole knob, just like the cleavage of the root. just flash it every now and then, go ooh, and just keep walking off, and it's like that's how you sort of lure them.
The thing is, as well, like, lure sounds so, it sounds so sinister. But say, for example, right, I'm being, I don't take any of this seriously, guys. It's a fucking comedy show. But say if someone says, oh, look, do you want to come around my house for some sweets? And the kid goes, oh, yes, please. And they went round the house, just had some sweets, and then went home. Was he being lured into his house? Or what? Where would you stand there?
Because if you said to me, like, oh, Aaron, mate, do you fancy coming round for a smoke? And that was like the end of it. Are you luring me? Because there's like maybe the word lured just gets used in a negative context so much that it's been given like a bad rap.
Yeah, we'll bring it back. We'll lure people everywhere and make...
we're trying to lure people into our podcast, aren't we?
That's right. We'll give you something, guys. Come in.
Yeah, let us abduct you. In a good way.
Yeah, why do you always think bad? We just want to go to the fucking woods and smoke and wear, Tic Tac merch.
Yeah, take you to the Screaming Woods in Parkland.
I'm not going to kill you, I'm just going to cut you. Jesus.
Yeah, and even then it'll be as a joke.
God, stop being such a fucking hard ass all the time.
Yeah, why is bloodshed always got to be such a fucking moot point?
And there's so much drama that goes with it, innit? God's sake.
Yeah.
So Spistevs, he lured people home using different reasons. Sometimes his mother or sister assisted him, creating an image of a normal family. Inside, Spistevs handcuffed victims to the radiator.
If that's their idea of creating an image of a normal family, they're well off. Sometimes in his murders, the mum and sister will help him, giving the image of a normal family. Yeah. We all chip in on the chores round here.
Imagine that. I was coming, that's just my mum and sister. Oh, yeah, you're right, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right, son's mental, he kills people. Oh, the Hound family does it. I don't know. Oh, that's all right then.
Oh, at least they're working together.
Look like there's a black sheep or something.
No. So, after he killed someone called Nastya, he made us... Oh, this is a quote from someone. Oh, I don't know who it's from. I haven't read ahead enough. But it says, after he killed Nastya, he made us dissect the body to hide it easier. This is one of the victims we're helping as well. Was saying that. One of the victims that got away before dying. With a handsaw he gave us, he cut up the corpse, separated the flesh from the bone with a knife. He only told us what to do. He fed the meat and the bones to his dog. My friend Xenia and I took the body parts to the bathroom, put them in the bath and the toilet tank, and his mother and sister all saw this. They were all present. All the other time, he beat me and Xenia and chained us up. He broke her arm and her head. He then sewed her head with a bare thread and needle. Oh, well, at least he's looking after him.
To an extent.
Neighbours.
There's first aid procedures on board. They've got that going for them.
Well, yeah, I mean, while murdering a captive, keeping people captive and all that is bad, at least he's looking after you somewhere. Neighbours complained to the police about the loud music and rotten smell from Spizdev's apartment, but in the provincial town of insert Russian name I can't pronounce, the cops didn't pay much attention. Finally, he was apprehended during a routine inspection by the plumbing service. When the maniac refused to open the door, plumbers called the police, who found body parts in his flat. The exact number is unknown, but it's more than 20. Currently, Spizdev is under surveillance in a mental ward. His mother served 13 years in prison, and the sister was released.
Wow.
So, I don't know why that's made the list of top Russian maniacs, because it doesn't sound as bad as stuffing branches and stuff into people's heads. But I suppose because it's a family affair, it's quite sinister, isn't it?
It's kind of crazy, yeah. So I know there was that other Russian as well, who she was an Olympic athlete, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I think she did like gymnastics, but she was very I think she wanted to be a man.
Ah, right.
She was very big and manly and butch. She was like very muscly, whatever. And she randomly attacked, I think, 4 people. 2 of them died of their injuries and 2 of them survived. She normally went for the throat with like a broken bottle or something at the bus stop.
No.
But she did it because she just wanted to be a serial killer.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah. And this is how she went about it. Yeah, she was pretty crazy. I can't remember her name because, like you say, somebody's name is so hard to remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was I think she served I think she'd only got like 2 accounts of like first or second degree murder because she was a bit mental as well. I can't remember now. But yeah, she would just sit at a bus stop, randomly attack people. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron's got hay fever this week and it's given him a bit of a tickly cough.
Well, at least you didn't lose your voice though. We thought we was going to lose your voice, didn't we, this week?
I did at one point, but no, it was all right.
So
yeah, on Friday it was really bad. I was like,
start the reactor.
But no, it's all right now.
But here you are, still rocking.
Course.
So my last serial killer. This guy managed to rack up more murders than Chikatilo and Pichushkin put together. This is a guy called Mikhail Popkov. So that's nice and easy, I can pronounce that. And his story is so terrifying because of the resemblance to horror movies. Popkov started... I'm going to call him Mikhail because Popkov sounds gay. Not that being gay is a bad thing. For fuck's sake. So,
How do you spell Mikhail?
Mikhail, Mikhal.
I think that's Mikhail.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's like they're Michael.
Oh, for fuck's sake, I've just fucked up then, haven't I?
Yep.
Oh, right, okay. I'm going to call him
Start
Popkov
again.
then. Right. Right, guys. We're from the beginning, because we've...
From the very beginning. We're going to explain the podcast again. We're going to start the beginning of the Russian maniacs.
We'll start insulting and talking about the kid rape all over again. No, okay, so right, we'll call him Popkov, because otherwise we'll say it wrong. So Popkov started killing while he was serving the Russian police force. At work, he was characterised as a very jolly and good-natured guy. Of course they are.
Do you think it's always like that, isn't it? There was always such a nice neighbour, always polite and kept themselves to themselves.
Yeah.
Always help the elderly take out their rubbish for them.
It's weird because they always are.
Everyone's birthdays.
Yeah, but why don't they? I'm not being funny. Why don't they ever go? Yeah, do you know what? He was fucking weird. Always had
he was wrong on that one.
Blackout blinds on the go. He didn't walk dogs. He used to walk chickens. He was a fucking lunatic.
One time he came out wearing his sister's face, and that's when I started getting really suspicious.
That's when the eyebrows raised round there.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he's wearing human skin as an apron. Keep an eye on that one.
He might be going through something at the minute, but just in case he's not.
A lot of people go around there, but they don't leave, and he's always digging in the garden.
He loves his vegetables. His potatoes are coming up lovely.
Rhododendrons are terrible, though.
Well, they would do, wouldn't they?
No, he didn't use ericaceous soil, mate. That's on him. Nutter! Didn't even use ericaceous soil for his rhododendrons. I knew he was a wrong one.
And that's how you know. That's how you know you're wrong. So, from 1994 to 2000, in the Russian city of Angarsk, over 20 beastly murders of young women occurred. It says beastly, so this is good.
He killed them with a cow.
Oh, imagine that. Just pushing
them to death with a cow.
Excellent, wouldn't it? How did they die? Oh, he tripped an elephant onto her. Wow.
Oh, that's how you do it.
Squashed her like a toothpaste tube. Fucking beautiful.
Popped out the end of her skull like a fucking inside of one of those tomato puree bottles.
Oh, God. Oh, fuck.
Sandwiched there between two rhinos charging.
Ah. No, it's going to be anticlimactic now, regardless how they got killed, isn't it? Because it's, I want to see them get pulled apart by rhinos or something, but, let's have a look. All but one of the victims were drunk when they were killed. So, okay, well, they love a beer over there, they love a vodka. They were knocked off with, oh, here we go. They were knocked off with screwdrivers, bats, hammers, and so on. So it's blunt force trauma by the looks of it most of the time. They were also raped before being murdered, of course.
By swarms of wasps, by any chance?
No, just him. Just Popkov. And posthumously...
I'd hate to be raped by Popkov.
You'd hate to be?
Yeah.
What would make it so bad? The fact that you're going to die...
shit, isn't he?
Is it? What
yeah, it's sort of all the people who get raped by him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, ugh. Someone who straight up does it.
A jolly, good-natured policeman. You know,
who should know better, to be honest with you.
You want to, if you're going to fucking meet your maker, you want it to be by an absolute nutter, and you go, yeah, I'm fucked. This is going to go wrong now. Here we go. So
I want to know where I stand.
Yeah, we don't ask for a lot, do we?
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do at this point? Call the police? He's right there with you.
Yeah. So, they were also raped before being murdered and posthumously mutilated. I don't know what that means, but I guess...
They mutilated them after they died.
Oh, right, okay. The crimes were left unsolved until 2012, when repeat genetic tests showed Popkov, who was earlier brought into the investigation, to be the murderer. Popkov was soon apprehended and surrendered to the police. Let's find out a bit more. Popkov said that early in the relationship, his wife cheated on him. Oh, here we go again. It's a woman, mate.
The women again, aren't they?
He didn't do anything because he pitied their kids. But started from that time, he decided to punish young women who misbehaved. As a police officer, when he travelled home in his car after a shift, he picked up young women who were drunk and offered them a ride, then sexual intercourse. Popkov then proceeded to kill the women who said yes to him. Oh, fuck me.
So he came so close to sounding like a really good bloke. He's a jolly copper who's nice to everybody. You know, I've got a loving wife and kids. I found out my wife cheated on me, but I didn't react because I knew we had to do what was good for the children. You think, yeah, good for you, mate. Yeah, so I just went out and raped and murdered a bunch of women. Like, oh, you've lost me now.
Even then, he's almost being the good guy, and he's almost there because he's saying, like, you know, I travelled home after my shift, and, you know, if I saw drunk women, I'll give them a ride home. Oh, fair play to you. But then I would ask for sex, and if they said yes to the sex, they die. Oh. Yeah. But Popkov, I think, you know, you're nearly there, mate. You're nearly the good citizen. You're just fucking up the last bit. You're fucking up the ending.
He is. So, he's doing an M. Night Shyamalan. He was really good up until that point, and the third act came in, and it was like, let's just fucking make this up as we go along, shall we? Well,
by the looks of it, it says here, Popkov investigated murders that he himself committed to cover up any potential clues that may have given him away. Well, that's what you would do if you was a cop, wouldn't you?
I thought you was going to say, he even tried to investigate himself, but couldn't find it. Like, so he's crap at being police as well, then. That would explain it. He's just a really shit copper. It's supposed to stop rape and murder.
Oh shit! Really?
God. So I tried investigating myself and I came up with nothing. I was really good.
After his life sentence, Popkov continued to confess to more murders, probably in the hope of postponing the start of his real jail time. He feared that fellow inmates might kill him. Eventually, he confessed to more than 80 murders, and he said he stopped killing because of the impotence he gained with a venereal disease. The
he stopped killing because of impotence.
And the other one started.
So the other guy started killing because of impotence.
But the other one started killing kids because he was impotent.
Yeah, and this guy stopped killing because because he couldn't get it up anymore. Do you reckon that's what it was, like a sexual release kind of thing? Because if he stopped when he became impotent, then obviously he wasn't getting his sexy jollies anymore.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I guess something to do with that.
I suppose if you can't get it up, there's no point fucking trying to rape a woman, is there really?
Well, it's like trying to slug into a slot machine, wasn't it?
Fucking hell.
I'm just saying now it is, man. That's what it's like, and it's not. And I've never seen a rape in my time.
No, nor have I.
I don't think there's any point where the bloke stops and goes, "Hold on a minute, I'm just trying to." He starts like playing with himself, trying to get it up. Like the other days when you're laying there, like you're 17, you're shaking it around, you're like, "It'll be all right in a minute," and she's there going, "It's all right." And you're thinking, and it's just like, oh, she just looked at her watch. Fuck.
And you're like, you will get up now. You fucking will. And then it just goes on you, doesn't it? And you're like,
yeah.
What?
And then they're checking their phone, and you hear, it's like, oh god, well, this is over.
Yeah.
Might as well rape and kill her.
but I understand that. I understand that, man, because maybe in a different world I would do the same. Because you do feel like your masculinity's taken away, didn't you? When you're sitting there with a fucking floppy and they're like, shall I put the kettle on then? It's like, oh, damn, I've failed. I have failed you.
And you sit there. But a lot of the time as well, though, you sort of thank yourself because you think to yourself, it's a good job she's putting the kettle on because I took one sniff of that and I've been fancying a pot noodle ever since. So it could work out just well.
Looks like everyone's a winner.
Yep. You've got your chicken and mushroom on the go.
Oh, I like a chicken and mushroom pot noodle.
I do. I like a Bombay bad boy and all.
Yeah, I like it just a beef and tomato and all. If we're going to go just just a nice...
And the chow mein ones.
Oh, is it the blue one? No,
yeah.
Is it? Yeah, they're quite nice.
Yeah, they've got the sticky rib ones. I also like the ones that, like the curry ones that come with like the mango chutney.
No, I'm not a fan of that for some reason.
You're not a fan of them ones?
I don't like the mango chutney in it.
Oh, see, I like a bit of mango. I don't like too much though, so for me, it's just the right amount.
Russian rapists and pot noodles. That's what we need.
Oh yes.
So yeah, the long and short of that is he's still in prison. The psychiatrists haven't declared him insane, and he's still on trial by the looks of it for the other murders he confessed to, the 80 murders. So,
see, that's how they do it, isn't it? That's how they get you. They sit there, they'll go, "Oh, you kill all the people you want, but as long as you're in Russia, we won't say you're crazy."
Crazy? You just wanted to kill people.
Yeah. You know, some sing, some dance, others murder and rape. I mean, we don't condone it, but there's nothing wrong with you. You know what I mean? That's what they're saying over in Russia. The way they sort of do it, like, "Oh, he's definitely not crazy." It's like, really? You don't think he's crazy? If I sat there and I thought to myself, I'm going to go over there to the other side of the bus and just punch that guy in the face, people will be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" But I can go to Russia and murder and rape 80 people, and they'll be like, "He's just a wrong one. Nothing wrong with him. He's just not very well behaved." Jolly one though. We'll give him that.
Always smiling. Loves his job.
Remembers everyone's names. He's all right. I mean, yeah, you know, he's made some mistakes, but that's why pencils have erasers.
Oh man, well that was my Russian guys that I found this week.
Well, you're dropping down Russian guys. Let me drop something for you.
Ooh, what you got?
Well, now I've got another little listy here. I thought I'd jump on the club. I've got a little long sort of story about a certain somebody soon, but I thought we've gone from a couple of long little talkies. Let's do some little spitfire ones now, shall we?
Yeah.
Right then, ladies and gentlemen, I thought it's something to look into, because we've looked at like things before, like with animals, symbiotic relationships and things like that, and crazy things animals get up to. Well, this wouldn't be Tales from the Animal Kingdom without some animal facts, would it, mister?
Of course.
So let's have a look at some animal defence mechanisms.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, now, because this was when I was thinking about the pistol shrimp. As we know, the pistol shrimp claps its claw so fast and hard that it shoots an air bubble which can knock out its prey. And it's blind as well when it does that, so it's like the shrimp of Eli. But here's the first one. Now, the first one's pretty self-explanatory, but it's pretty fun. Right, the Malaysian exploding ants.
Nice.
Right now, as the name suggests, these Malaysian ants have glands filled with poison in their bodies. Now, other ants and stuff like that are totally immune to this poison because, you know, it's their thing. But when one of them is like, you know, they're all sort of walking along doing their thing, and let's say like a big old spider comes along, they can feel like there's a threat to the colony. One of them will suddenly contract its abs, which will squeeze the glands inside it, causing them to burst, which will then explode out through the ant's head and release a poisonous cloud, which can like fight off or potentially kill the predator. And though it's killing itself, it basically suicide bombs itself to get rid of whatever it is that's fighting it.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So the rest of the colony will live, but this one will be like blow itself up and just like completely save the entire colony.
What a hero.
Yeah, that's what he does. One of them little guys.
Nice.
I say he because usually the worker ants are in fact male. And what else we got here? Oh, this is a fun one. Now, this is one I think could be very effective if used by anyone. Because a lot of the time, like in the animal things, like it's like if someone came over me and tried to mug me, and I blew up my own head to then get rid of him with poisonous gas, that wouldn't really work in my favour.
No.
But this is one that I think is something we can all adopt. And that's the Texas horned lizard.
Oh, what does he do?
Now, though it's hence the name, the Texas horned lizard is covered in horns, and that is a part of its self-defense mechanism. If something tries to pick it up, it will stab itself, and who knows what else. But that's not all the Texas horned lizard can do. It will also, when threatened, squirt its own blood out through its eyeballs before running away.
Yes.
Mate, if someone tries to mug me and I squirt blood at them out of my eyes, they're not mugging me ever again. They're legging it.
So why did it do that? For defence?
Yeah. Something comes over and like comes to get them, it will turn at them, look at them, squirt blood at them through its eyeballs.
Wow.
And it will splash them with its blood and it will run away. And leaving, obviously, the thing that's there very, very confused.
Covered in the blood of what he was going to eat.
Yeah. That was squirted from its eyeballs.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, that's how you get them. They've got another one here.
Ooh.
The old, the cereal leaf beetle. Now, this little guy has a little sack on its back made from this like little membrane, and it just fills it up with its own shit.
Okay.
So when it walks around on leaves and stuff, it's just carrying around like a backpack of its own poo. So not only does it stink like shit, it literally is shit. And other like insects like, I'm not eating that, it's just a piece of fucking shit walking around. And he's just walking around with a backpack filled with poo. And when you look them up, people, cereal leaf beetle, you look it up, there's a little beetle walking around with a sack filled with turds.
I'm looking.
He looks like a little lich. He looks like a scat snow globe.
Oh yeah, there he is.
Yeah, he's having a great time carrying the little turds around.
Little beetle with a sack.
Yeah. And then we've got the cuttlefish, and a little bit of fun thing for people at home. Though the cuttlefish isn't actually a fish, and it's in fact a mollusk, it's more closely related to squids and octopi than actual fish. Ooh. And the cuttlefish can not only squirt ink and defend itself with its many tentacles, it can also take the same shape, colour and texture as its surroundings, blending perfectly with the landscape.
Ooh,
So
like
it can like
little
yes, it can like go inside like the coral reefs and go. I am now a coral reef, but it will. So if even if a fish goes up to it, like brushes up against it, it will have the same field as it and everything. These things are just like transformers.
Well, they changed the texture as well. Or?
Yeah, texture, colour, and shape.
Ah, fucking clever, aren't they?
Yeah,
Oh, because they're weird little things, aren't they? They're weird
yeah,
looking.
yeah. They're like little weird, sluggy, like they sort of look like eels with an octopus body for a head.
Yeah.
Yeah, proper mad.
I think
But
I've seen it before. The only thing they can't do very well is mimic a chess. I think they did it with a chessboard. They tried to make it look like a chessboard, like try and get it to camouflage in a chessboard, and they couldn't do it. And it's like, why would you do that? Why would why would you do that to a fucking animal? But oh well, as you do.
well, up next we've got the hairy frog.
Oh, nice.
You get a load of this guy, mate. Also known as the horror frog. This hairy little critter, when threatened, will break its own bones, make them split through the skin, and will use them as claws, just like Wolverine.
What?
That's what the horror frog gets up to, ladies and gentlemen. And even looking at it before it does the claw thing, it looks horrendous. This thing's got these long hairs coming out of it. It's got like a really sort of swamp shit coloured skin. It looks like a horror monster. It looks like something you would fight in The Witcher. But then it breaks its fucking hand bones and fucking splits the fucking bone through its skin so it can attack you with claws that are made out of its own fractured bones. Geezer doesn't fuck around, mate.
That's fucking scary looking.
Isn't it proper scary? It's like a werewolf reptile.
Yeah.
It does look like something you would fight in a video game. Like I can imagine fighting that in The Evil Within.
Yeah, without a doubt. And yeah, if you Googleize it, guys, you can actually, there's pictures of it with its bones through its feet. So you can see that what it would look like. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, but we've got one more here as well, just to... now, remember the cuttlefish, yeah?
Yeah.
It can take on its same texture, colour and shape as its surroundings. Well, so can the sea cucumber. But the sea cucumber can also make itself collapse into several pieces, giving the impression that it is dead, or a number of other things such as rocks and weeds, etc. So it could break itself apart, excuse me, make one part of it look like a rock, another part of it look like a stick next to it. It can make a bundle of stuff, basically, and then it can put itself back together again. Think Terminator 2. It rolls itself back together and takes on its original shape as normal. But not only that, it can also excrete its own stomach acid from its body to cause a toxic and corrosive cloud around it to warn off predators. And it does it by shitting out its intestines. Oh, yes. Now, some of you at home may have seen those Jackass movies.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Now, do you remember the episode, I think it's Steve-O and Chris Pontius, they go under the water and they grab those sea cucumbers and they pretend to masturbate them until that white thread comes out at the end and it looks like they're wanking with sea cucumbers.
Oh, yeah.
That's them doing that thing where they shit their guts out.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's what they're doing now. They're releasing these toxins and trying to get whoever's doing it to them off them. So technically they're kind of being cruel to animals. But
sure.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what that's some crazy little self-defense things I found.
Yeah.
For some animals that they like to get up to. Because this is just what the animal kingdom does. I mean, there's other ones as well, like, there was ones that weren't quite as exciting, like, there's like the electric eel can shoot like 650 volts of electricity and things like that. But this is stuff we know already. We know that. I thought, I want weird stuff, and I thought shitting out intestines and squirting blood out your eyes and making bone claws is pretty up there as far as weird goes.
That's like what we do, innit? That's what the guys. That's why we get our listeners in, because they want to listen to fucking weird shit. They don't want to hear stuff like, "Oh, did you know that a dog can bite you as a defence?" Well, yeah, we know that. And a lion will eat you. Yes,
Yeah.
I know. Thank you. I want intestines and exploding heads.
Well, here's something this is a bit more family friendly.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. And this is the story of Clever Hans the horse. Now, Clever Hans, I already knew about this, but I found this particular information from todayifoundout.com. And the other one was on my animal defence stuff, was elitereaders.com. You can find stuff in there. But here's a Clever Hans the horse. Now, this takes a bit of reading, but all of it is important information. But of course, Ad, feel free to drop in here and there as you do with any questions.
Sure, I will.
This is how we roll. Okay, this phenomenon began in the late 19th century with a German mathematics teacher by the name of Wilhelm von Osten. Blatantly German.
Yeah.
And he was a student of phrenology, which meant that he adhered to the belief that a person's intelligence, amongst other things, can be determined by the size and shape of their head. And in addition, he was interested in animal intelligence and the idea that it was greatly underestimated by the human race. As a result of his beliefs, von Osten decided to attempt to teach 3 different animals: a cat, a bear, and a horse named Hans. So the first 2 didn't turn out so well, but he didn't get injured or anything by the bet or anything, so it's all good.
What was he teaching him?
Just random stuff.
Oh, right.
But to his delight, the horse seemed to respond the most to von Osten's mathematical tutelage. So Javi was teaching this horse maths and that in the end. And it began with Hans simply tapping out numbers written on a blackboard. Any number under 10 he could count by tapping one of his hooves.
Okay.
Von Osten was excited and encouraged by this progress, and thus decided to test the horse further. He began by writing out basic mathematical problems and attempted to train Hans to recognise simple symbols. So, your plus, minus, all that.
Yeah.
And numbers and all that shit. This proved relatively easy for the animal, and before long he was able to provide correct answers to a myriad of problems, including fractions, square roots, and multiplication. Von Osten decided to take Hans on the road, and in 1891 he was performing 3 shows all over Germany. By this stage, Hans was able to spell out names with his taps, as well as tell the time and work out dates. Despite the fact that his accuracy wasn't 100%, Hans's abilities were impressive enough to draw large crowds, as well as attract the attention of skeptics such as the New York Times, who ran a front-page story about the horse, as well as Germany's Board of Education. The latter decided that they wanted to investigate Hans's abilities, which von Osten readily agreed to. After all, he knew he was no fraudster, and there was no scandal to be exposed. Oh, so we got this chavvy and his horse, and these investigators.
Yeah.
Narcs, you could say.
Yeah.
Trying to debunk our boy. And, Von Osten, this ain't his first rodeo.
He knows
He's waiting for it. He's a man of maths and science. He knows there's going to be skeptics. He's a good bloke. Now, the investigation team became known as the Hans Commission, and it was comprised of a variety of men from differing professions. These included a psychologist, a few school teachers, a circus manager, 2 zoologists, and an horse trainer. And despite thorough investigation and testing, the commission concluded in 1904 that there was nothing fraudulent about Hans's abilities and that he really was a gifted horse. And this is where it starts getting interesting, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, there we go.
Now, despite their findings, a psychologist by the name of Oscar Funkst, with a silent fucking P and all, so this bloke's got credentials. He remained sceptical about Hans and his supposed abilities, but with the permission of von Osten, you know, the old clever Hans' owner, he picked up where the Hans Commission left off and embarked on some thorough and unique investigation techniques. Oh, God a minute. Firstly, he had a tent erected in which the experiments would take place. The primary purpose of this was to shield the investigation and Hans himself from outside distraction and contamination. He then made a large list of questions to ask Hans, the horse, as well as the variables that could affect the outcome. At first, Hans reacted to questioning as normal as usual, at least when his owner asked them. However, things began to change when Funkst began to change certain environmental factors during the questioning. For instance, he asked von Osten to stand further away when asking Hans questions. The horse's accuracy diminished, though nobody was sure why. As a result, the psychologist decided to try some other variables. Von Osten was instructed to ask Hans questions that he himself didn't know the answer to, and immediately Hans's accuracy went from being roughly 89% correct to almost 0% correct.
Oh.
And the same results would occur if Hans was questioned from behind a concealing screen. It seemed that to answer questions, Hans needed to have a clear view of his questioner, who incidentally had to know the answer to the question itself.
Yep.
The obvious conclusion would be that von Osten had trained Hans to respond to previously prepared questions, but then why would he so readily agree to the investigation? To answer this question, Funks decided to continue his studies, but to switch his focus to those who were questioning and interacting with the horse. He almost instantaneously noticed certain shifts in his posture, facial expressions and breathing of the questioners whenever Hans tapped his foot. And with every tap, their tension seemed to increase. When the correct answer had been reached, it would disappear. Funks thus concluded that Hans was taking these subtle shifts in tension as his cue to stop. This tension didn't exist when the questioner was unaware of the answer to his own question, which explains why Hans had no idea what to do in that circumstance. The most fascinating part of this was that both von Osten and any other questioner involved had absolutely no idea that they were giving Hans cues, and it was all completely unconsciously done. And to further prove his point, Funkst himself took on the role of Hans and attempted to answer questions based purely off body language. By carefully watching his questioners, he was successful in his test even when they were aware of these cues, and it seems that they weren't able to stop themselves from displaying them, which is fascinating. Since then, displays of unintentional cues have become known as the clever Hans effect. And in spite of the fact that Funk's investigation proved clever Hans to be something of a hoax, he did inadvertently prove von Osten's own theories surrounding the intelligence of animals. Sure, Hans couldn't really do semi-complex or tell you the maths or tell you the time without a little help, but he was incredibly receptive to extremely subtle human body language. And it may not be the intellect that von Osten was going for, but it is nonetheless very impressive.
That's fucking... that's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, so this horse was literally like... When I was reading about it before, in this book, I believe it was Homo Deus, they talk about it in there, and this horse, they would sit there and say, like, what's 10 times 9? Now, we know the answer's 90. So, of course, it would bang its hoof and go 1, 2, 3, 4, and all the way, and of course it would get 85, 86, and people would be watching going, like, they'd be like nodding along or counting along.
Oh, yeah.
Their face was constantly there, like, the 90. It got to 90, and the horse would be like, oh, they're excited, I can stop now. That's how he was doing it. So this horse, in its own way, was a genius. Because it was reading body language of a completely different species. And it's doing it along and thinking, I'd have stopped until they fucking give it over. But he had no idea what he was doing. He didn't know what maths is.
It's interesting that they say that he could pick up these subtle facial cues and subtle cues and that of human body language, because like I guess before then, well, especially not in 1904 or whatever it was, we wouldn't even understand that.
Well, he started doing performances in 1891.
Hell.
You know what I mean? And this was, I don't know what technology and stuff like that was like and whatever, but I'm pretty sure the internet wasn't around then.
Yeah.
So they couldn't just Google it, get their phone out, Google it and go, this horse is full of shit. But what I liked about that story is that you always hear about these amazing creatures, and then you read about them and it's like, oh, it was all bollocks. But at least with that one, it was, the bloke genuinely believed his horse was good at maths.
Yeah.
But even when it turned out it wasn't, it was like, your horse is still fucking talented, man.
Yeah, you still got a good horse there.
Yeah, that's a hell of a horse.
That's worth some money. And do you say they named that? They named it Clever Hans effect. Yeah.
So when someone gives something, like when someone's got like a bad poker face, and they're giving away, they've got like they're like, they're bluffing really badly, or something. Or if they're bluffing really well and they manage to, or something like that, I suppose. Like if you're really good at like reading people's like body cues and things like that, and you use that to your advantage, then that's called the Clever Hans effect.
Oh.
It's mad, isn't it?
May.
Or if you're accidentally giving off like subconscious cues, and they call it that, which I think is pretty cool. And I just like the fact that there's an horse thinking to himself, I'll just keep tapping my foot until these people start smiling, and then they give me a sugar cube. It's like, do you ever watch movies where there's like a really, really dramatic scene, it's like really tense and it's like going on, but there's also like a baby or a dog in the scene, and you can just see them all like looking at the camera crew thinking, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
There was like, what are all those people doing? Sort of looking around like, this is brilliant.
That completely like oblivious, like, yeah, this is cool, man. This is good. I'm happy.
Yeah, and then like, there's that person over there, is my trainer. He's my favourite person. And the dog's just sat there like, looking off screen, like, oh, and the baby's looking over like the mum or something, like, oh. And it's like that. These animals and kids have got no idea what they're doing on this film set. It's brilliant. And you can see it all over their face. Oh, I love shit like that.
We are easily pleased.
We are very easily pleased. Well, I was watching Mastermind the other week.
Oh, nice.
You ever watched Mastermind?
Oh, it's too. I can't get my head around it, mate. If it's a subject that I don't know anything about, I just like glaze over.
Yeah, this is the thing that I was thinking, because I was watching it, and I think because you get to pick your own like first specialist subject, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
And they ask you questions about that particular subject, and you see how much you know about it. I have no idea what my subject would be. Because I know very little about lots of different things.
Right.
Like I can probably have a decent conversation about most topics, but it'd be a very basic conversation.
Yeah.
But if someone wanted to talk very in depth about one particular thing, I don't think there's anything I could really. I mean, I could keep a decent conversation, but if it was like on Mastermind and they were like, oh, like, and I said like, oh, my thing was like horror or something, but they would ask like questions like, oh, like what was the first film to be like horror film to be filmed on like the Canary Islands or something? And I'd be like, I don't fucking know. I'm definitely not an expert in anything.
Yeah, because they ask what it is with Mastermind. I mean, it's some of the questions are so like abstract. You're like, what the fuck? Why would anyone ever know that? That's it's not. It goes beyond the realms of like a general knowledge thing. It's like.
So like, if I was to, I don't think I could have any specialist subject. And if I did, I just have to like I say, if I say the horror, it would be so. That's such a like a open thing, because horror could mean anything. So even if I just said like the movie Predator, have that as my specialist subject. Even then, if he was like, right, where did they film it? What film was it filmed on?
Yeah.
You know, how long did the filming take place? How many films had this person been in before doing this one? I'd have no idea.
Yeah, even though because I know, of conversations we've had we can talk for hours just about facts we know about Predator.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that I can put Predator on, and I could literally talk over the whole film by telling people, oh, actually, that was filmed like this. And do you know the cigar light is actually superimposed because you weren't allowed to have actual fire on the helicopter, so it's actually been CGI'd in. And do you know that guy is actually the Predator? That guy, and you know because you do, didn't you, when you watch it?
Helicopter pilot, and that bit where the Predator's running away from when the old minigun goes off. That little flash there of him running away from the blood is actually Jean-Claude Van Damme in the original outfit, running off. That's his one little bit. He didn't want to do it because you couldn't see his face.
Yeah.
But there's a lot about that movie we know, and like how the Predator's blood was just KY jelly and glow sticks.
Yeah.
And things like that. But there's still so much more about it that I'd be like, I've got a fucking clue.
Because they would ask the weird questions like, the glow sticks come from a reliable source local to the studio. Where did they come from? What?
Yeah. And like that bloke who plays Poncho, I can't remember his name now, Richard something or other, I can't remember his name. But if they said, like, oh, what was he working on whilst the film was being made? And I'd be like, oh, he was working on the script for Lethal Weapon. Like, I know that, like, little things like that. But still, there's millions of things. Like, if they'd be like, oh, how many extras did they have? Not a fucking clue.
Fucking hell,
but these are the sort of things they are. So I would not feel comfortable going on there with anything other than Predator, I think. But even then, I'd be going in there thinking, fuck me, I'm going to get all this wrong.
Because it's a bit heavy, isn't it? Some of it is a bit all in your phone.
I got the names wrong. It wasn't the bloke who played Poncho. It was the one who played what's-his-face with the glasses. I can't remember the fucking name now. Poncho was the one who gets taken out with the fucking big log and then gets shot in the side of the head.
So look, you fucked up Mastermind already.
Yeah, mate. So I'd be shit at Mastermind. The absolute worst. But like, even like some of the people on there, when you get in there asking, like, 'cause I think the one I was watching was about the Cold War, and I find the Cold War quite interesting. But this guy was dropping like names and dates and locations and what colour cars did these people use, and I was like, Jesus, man, this is going deep.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I haven't got enough attention span to love something because it's so deep, the research, isn't it? And they love it. Like,
yeah, it's like when we were doing stuff for like the mushrooms and the things like that. We were like, Jesus Christ, what here can I keep?
Yeah.
And it's like, because there was so much more that I read that was so interesting that I didn't even get to touch on, just because there is so fucking much in it. And oh mate, I just couldn't do it. It was just, there's no time. You could have your very own podcast just about mushrooms. Just about the Dead Sea Scrolls, you could do a fucking podcast, like, series just on that.
Easy.
There's so much there. If you could have like a 2-hour episode every week on the Dead Sea Scrolls, you'd be going for years.
It's bizarre, but like I've spoke to people, because obviously, you know, we do the show for everyone who listens, but we also, people I speak to in person, like at work, friends and family and stuff, they say stuff like, oh, I listened to it and it didn't really interest me. And sometimes I get blown away by people's kind of naivety or that kind of, not naivety, just that they don't want to listen about stuff like that because they just see it as silly. It's like, I know we was talking about mushrooms and Jesus and Super Mario Jesus and stuff, but actually listen to it. It's fucking mind-blowing. And simulation theory. Oh, of course we're not a fucking computer game. But what? Okay, but why don't you listen to what we're saying and just have a, see what you think then?
Yeah. Bring some new dialogue to the conversation. It's like, sometimes though, it's like, I get like people sit there and people, like, there's a lot of people who sit there and be like, oh, I can't understand how someone can't like the band Slayer. I love the band Slayer, they're one of my favourites, but if someone doesn't like the band Slayer, they don't like the band Slayer. I can see why they wouldn't like it, but it's some of the things, it's like, me and my friends, like, we like talking about food, sitting there chatting about grub and snacks or just food in general and shit like that. We have a great, so I'm like, oh, I love a bit of this, love a bit of that. But then you get people who are like, oh, talking about food, the most boring thing ever. It's like, no, it isn't. Talking about food is awesome. It's like, oh, I don't really like food though. It's like, but when you get people who are like really, really fussy, like I know someone who only eats pasta.
Nice.
Yeah, that's like literally it. They're like, I don't really eat a lot. And then But at the same time, they're like in terrible shape, absolutely huge. Like, I've tried everything and nothing works. It's like, you haven't now, have you? Have you tried eating salad? No, I don't like salad. Oh, you haven't tried everything, have you? What about fruit and vegetables? Oh, I don't like fruit and vegetables. Okay, so what do you eat? Just pasta and chocolate. Oh, so you're a huge, giant, fat mess because you eat nothing but pasta and chocolate. Have you tried exercising with it? No, because I don't have any energy just from eating pasta and chocolate. So when you said you've tried everything, what have you actually tried? Crying about it on Facebook. Brilliant.
There's some weird people around.
Oh, they do my fucking.
Talk about weird people. I've got an audible to share with you. It's a guy called Tari. I don't even know how to say his name. It's Tarrare. He's French.
Thierry?
Thierry. Should we call him Thierry? It looks near enough. Fuck it. Yeah, we'll call him Thierry. Basically, he's a young French peasant boy.
Terry.
Let's call him Terry.
Tether.
Tether.
T-Dog.
His name went from fucking French to actually he's going to be called Thierry to actually I'm just going to keep shortening it. So old T Money.
He's Mr. T.
Mr. T was a French peasant boy, born near Lyon, in France, in 1772. From an early age, he had an insatiable hunger and cried for food even when he just finished a meal. We all know people like that. At age 17, he was gluttonous yet emaciated, snuck into village barns to eat the livestock feed. He had an unusually large mouth and was always sweating and emitted a putrid stench.
He's a tapeworm or something.
Well, Terry's parents kicked him out. He found himself in Paris right before the French Revolution. He parlayed his uncontrollable hunger into a career eating strange things for gathering crowds. He ate all types of unpalatable objects, including live animals and large stones. However, the money dried up when the French Revolution began. Terry became a soldier, but unsurprisingly, he was chronically ill from compulsively eating stray cats and other non-food items. The field hospital reluctantly fed him quadruple rations until General Alexandre saw Terry in a unique opportunity. He approached Terry about being a spy, delivering military secrets with his stomach as the courier. He agreed and ingested a wooden box containing a note for imprisoned French colonel. Terry crossed the Prussian lines and within 30 hours was captured and betrayed France. And was savagely beaten. Prussians dumped Terry close to French lines and he returned to the military hospital where he resorted to drinking stored blood and nibbled on the dead residing in the morgue. He was suspected of eating a toddler and never actually denied it. Terry died horribly at around age 27. His autopsy revealed festering intestines and the entire body was putrefied, filled with pus. His digestive system freakishly mutated, from his stomach being at the back of his throat, continuing all the way down. Both lungs and heart were displaced. That's Terry from 1772.
Terry, you're an idiot.
He was a weird bloke. He was eating a lot of stuff, like babies, like livestock and babies. Is weird.
I like how apparently eating random objects for people's amusement. I like how that's almost a very secure job to the point where it's not the novelty and the lack of other stuff that put an end to that career. No, it was the French Revolution. It was an actual war kicking off that put an end to that little stint.
He was doing all right apart from that. He was loving it.
Yeah.
Eating kids and cats and... Oh, what a weird man.
Nibbling on dead bodies.
We've all been a bit too hungry in the night, and you wake up and you want a sandwich, didn't you? So I don't know. It's fucking weird. I did try and find some more weird people, and then I got kind of sidetracked. Lord Byron.
He was a nutter.
He was a nutter.
Poet with the. He was into his heroin.
Yeah, he was a bit of a weird chap. What else we got? Sorry,
I find most people, like a lot of people would go on and they're like, oh, have you ever heard about Lord Byron? I find the people who talk about Lord Byron a lot are also the same pretentious cunts who always talk about like Russian people by just their surname. You know, people like, oh, have you ever read Dostoevsky? It's like,
oh
full name,
yeah,
cunt.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you know what? I bet you haven't actually read any of this stuff. I bet you just know nobody else has, and you just talk about it. You make yourself sound posh. It's like, why do people always say Russian people by just their surnames? It annoys me. It's like with that bloke who wrote the Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who wrote the Gulag Archipelago. People are like, oh, have you ever read Solzhenitsyn? It's like, depends, mate. There's lots of them. I'm always that one. You're like, who exactly? Haven't you heard of them? I have, but there's loads with that surname. So maybe you should give me the full name instead of being a pretentious wanker. It's like I love old Jordan Peterson, but he does that a lot.
Oh, is he?
He will always bring up Russian authors and like, oh, but things about Tolstoy and Dostoevsky and Solzhenitsyn. So say their full names. No one thinks you're clever for just calling people by their surnames and just referencing Russian authors. I mean, well, yeah, I never see anybody going around going, oh yes, classic Masterton, that is, classic Masterton. Oh, what's that? And you're just like, oh no, Devils of D-Day. No, it's classic horrors. You're like, oh, it's not a classic. It must be. I called him by his surname. I hate people who do that. They do it with like film directors as well. But you know, these people are like, oh, I love foreign movies, and then you ask what their favourite one is, and they're like, oh, it could be any. Oh, yeah. And it's like I've been to people's houses before where they've got like loads of like foreign films on DVD, and you're like, I can tell they're all still inside their plastic wrapping.
Yeah.
You blatantly just bought these to look cultured. You have no idea what any of them are about, and I bet they're all crap.
But why do they do that? Why do people?
Know.
It's like if you genuinely want to get in and learn something, and you want to learn more about films, or but like people like weird shit just for liking weird shit. Like when I was younger, maybe fuck me, we probably have to go back about 20 years now, and like there was this one guy at school who loved manga, like Japanese manga stuff. But it was like the weirdest stuff, like the weirdest, like like you can't buy it anywhere. You can only get it imported from Japan. But it was all in Japanese. The subtitles were crap. And when I watched it, it was like fucking having a seizure. And I was like, so what is this all about? And he's like, oh, I don't really know. It's just about, it's just about the art in it. And it's like, I don't know what you're saying. And then when I brought it up again with him, I'm like, oh, well, have you got any more of this stuff? And he's like, oh no, I usually just watch that one creator's stuff. And it's like, I don't know if you actually do watch it, or if you're just having it because you feel, like you say, you want to feel more cultured, or you want.
It's like your thing.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like when I was a kid, I used to like some of the manga, like the manga videos. I never bought any of the books, only because like I'm a kid. I can either watch a violent cartoon or I can read a book. You know what I'm fucking doing.
Yeah, that's it.
And some of them I used to watch that they were a bit too out there. I didn't really get them.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck's going on here? Why has this schoolgirl got fox ears and is running on top of missiles and not even killing people. She's just like stopping them with like bubble gum, and her friend's a talking dog and her dad's a tree or something like that. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? What is this? But then you'd get ones like Pat Labor or Akira, where it's just like, here's a wicked sci-fi movie that just happens to be a cartoon.
Right.
And you're like, here we go. So yeah, but you get a lot of things like that. Like, so I know somebody, I won't mention their name because, well, they'll think I'm slagging them off. But this is also the only friend of mine that does this, so they'll know I'm slagging them off. But they're like, oh yeah, I'm really into like philosophy and stuff like this. And you're like, oh, okay then, so what do you think of this and this and this? And they're like, it's not quite that simple. And it's like, well, it is. Those are simple questions. Like, what is it about Plato that you like so much? What are his lessons that make you think that he's a unique mind? And he's like, oh, well, unless you've studied it, I can't really explain it. And it's like, that just sounds like a non-answer to, I want people to think I'm really smart.
Yeah.
But if you call me on it, I'll just pretend I'm even smarter. and that you're silly.
Yeah, because I've got a clever response. Yeah, it's a clever response, isn't it, to a question? You'd have to do some research before I can speak to you about it. Oh, I have done research. Let's talk then.
Yeah, it's like I went around a friend's house once, and they were like quoting this stuff. They were watching like I think it was that Brian Cox Charlie.
Oh yeah,
the physicist, not the actor. And I went around it, and it was interesting. I love stuff like that. I mean, I don't understand what most of it is, but, you know, the stuff that because sometimes he'll say stuff in a way where an idiot like me can go, oh, I'm clever too. And, and it's fascinating. But then he came around, and then I was around there, and then he was like, oh, let me tell you this is absolutely amazing. And he quoted something, I can't remember what it was. And I was like, okay. And he was like, how amazing is that? I was like, yeah, but do you know what it means though? And he was like, well, I don't know, you tell me. And I was like, but I'm not the one quoting it. You know what I mean? I'm not the one going around saying this amazing sentence. I don't know what it means. And it was like, sometimes I don't think you need to know. It's just the hearing it is enough to make you think. And it's like, but how can it make you think if you don't know what it means?
Yeah,
you're just trying to sound clever. And I find this with a lot of people, but this is why I don't go on social media a lot, because a lot of people now they think, because I've got a social media account, I know everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like when someone will share an article, just read the headline, and then like because they shared it on their page, they're now an expert on that subject.
Yeah.
And then when you try to talk to people, oh no, I don't think that's quite right, and they'll sit there and they'll be like, oh yeah, but you know, you just don't understand, or they'll talk down to you and make you feel like you're the one who's being silly. And it's like, no, you're talking about something you clearly don't know. It's like one of the shops around here just changed owners. One of the original owners had decided to retire now. And it was last year that it happened, because they thought, look, we're in this lockdown, Christmas is coming up, we've barely seen our families, now's a good time to make up for lost time, going into semi-retirement, we're happy. You know what I mean? We've made a load of money. The same shop's going to have the same staff, only it's going to have 2 new owners.
Happy days.
Happy days. Everyone loves it. So, of course, the headline was, keys for this particular shop, swap hands today as new staff take over local shop.
Mm.
People were sharing it, going, oh, look at this, another shop closed down, 2 more people unemployed because of the government, because of Boris, because of this, and they're going off for these huge rants. It's like, you've assumed all that from the headline. Read it, and you'll know that they're actually selling the business, and are more than happy, and are doing very, very well. But this is what people do. They'll hear something and straight away just go, nope, that's what that is. And it's like, no, it's not. Actually look at it, and then they'll be like, no, trust me, I think I know what I'm talking about. I've had a social media account now for like 11 years, and I'm on Twitter with like 150 million. And you know what I mean? And there's a lot of people as well, they'll put words in your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you're talking about something, they'll go, oh, so you're basically saying this. And it's like, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what anybody's saying. Yeah, if anything, that says more about you for thinking that. And that's what these people come from. They want to sound smart. They want people to think they've got all the answers. Like, do you remember a little while, not too long ago, maybe a couple of months ago, when I was on Facebook, and I mentioned something political. We won't go into.
Yeah.
And then someone came on and was like, oh, well, this is just because you don't have all the right information. And I was like, well, then give me the right information.
Yeah.
If I have the right information, and I even said, look, I'm open to having my mind changed. If what I'm saying is wrong, please tell me. Give me the new information, but we'll do it in private, not in public, because I don't want us to be playing up to an audience. I want to have an actual conversation. And their response was, no, can't be bothered because you won't want to listen to it because it goes against your beliefs. It's like, 1, you don't know what my beliefs are yet. I haven't told you because you didn't want to know. 2, I've said I want my mind changed, and I'm open to hearing new information. And 3, I've said, come and talk to me about it. I'm openly inviting you to do this. But because I took away the audience, and it took away their chance to look smart or put someone in their place, they were like, oh, I don't want to do that. You know, I can't get likes and comments backing me up, telling me how right I am. So it's like, so instead you're going to put words in my mouth saying, oh no, you just don't want to hear my opinion. It's like, just asked you to give it to me.
It's a sad world we live in, man, when people are like so driven by likes, comments and stuff like that, that they don't actually want to educate people and help people.
No.
You know,
they literally just want to put out some sort of non sequitur argument.
Yeah.
It's like when everything was going on with those riots, and I was said, like, again, we're not going to get too much. We're not going to mention any names, but I say it's funny when one side has a violent protest, and the papers say, it's not violence if it's a protest. But then when the other side does it, and it's a protest that turns violent, it's, well, they shouldn't have been protesting in the first place.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't have it both ways. And this is all I said about it. And people were like, oh, so you condone violence against black people. I was like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people just jumped it. They just talk past you, put words in your mouth, make up their own conclusion and go, this will get me a few likes. This will make me seem like the virtuous, smart one, putting down the stupid people. I'm the voice of the righteous. I'm the man on the hill that everyone wants to go to, with all the knowledge. But
it's you know, I'm going to have a little rant now because this is relevant to
Please do.
what we're just talking about, and also social media, and everyone who listens to us will be on social. Well, most people who listen to us will be on social media, I assume. So I think, I'll tell you a story. It's a personal one. I'm not going to mention names because this literally happened yesterday, so it's a bit fresh, right? Basically, I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw a picture of the picture on Facebook. The caption on Facebook was, "Does anyone know this man? He was beating his dog at the traffic lights and I need the dog taken away from him." And there's a picture of a man kneeling on the floor, and the dog's head is tucked under his knee, like the dog's cowering. Yeah. And I looked at it and thought, right, okay. Now, this struck a chord with me because I knew the guy in the picture. Straight away, I knew the guy very well, worked with him for 7 years. And he's a very, very kind-hearted man. Takes on adopted animals and all sorts. And I thought, if that really is him putting his knee on a dog's head, then something must have happened in his life quite drastically for this to change. And that's what I thought of first. I think, yes, he should be shot if he's actually hurting animals, but this isn't the person who I thought of. So I let the new kind of age we live in of social media to play out and see what happens with this post. And I can tell you that every single person was just commenting, you should have fucking taken that dog off him, you should have hit him, you should have done this, you should have done that. And then people started the lynching. Where does he live? Oh, where was this taken, please? I'm going to go out in my car. If I see him, I'm going to fucking do him and all this. And I thought, everyone has just jumped to the conclusion that he's hurting his dog, when the woman hasn't given us any, the person who posted it didn't give us any information apart from that he looks like he was abusing his dog, and the picture is just of the dog cowering into his owner. So obviously I sit patiently and wait, because obviously you need to hear from the actual horse's mouth as such. And the person's mum commented and said, you need to find out the facts before posting things like this. It can be very dangerous for people. And then the gentleman in question commented and said how upset he was that everyone has jumped to this conclusion. The fact that someone has stood across the road when, in fact, he was not leaning on his dog's neck. The dog is a 3-year-old adopted staff who is terrified of traffic and was trying to get away from the traffic. That's why he was backed into a railing, and he was leaning down to comfort his dog. That's the reason of the picture. And he said, the fact now that I am scared to go outside because of the lynching that I will get because of Facebook and your comments. And then someone else posted, who was actually with the guy, said this is what's happened. The dog's just hiding away because he was scared of the traffic noise. They're trying to help him with traffic, trying to help him with noise. And he said this person now is he already suffers with mental health issues, which we touch on a lot in this show, and he's now too scared to come out of his house today, and the dog will not have a walk for the foreseeable future with him as the owner, because he's too scared of the backlash that people are going to steal his dog or beat him up. All because he was being
because some cunt wanted to go out with their phone and get themselves a little viral moment. Yep,
and the worst part is, everyone starts dragging up that they see this guy and they're like, oh, I've seen him before. He looks like he's always staggering and he's a druggie. He lives down the local homeless shelter. And it's like, hang on a fucking minute. No, he doesn't. He owns his own fucking house and he had a fucking stroke a couple of years ago. It's like, who the fuck are you lot to make assumptions like that? And now that someone who's a good friend of mine is too scared to go out of his fucking house because of some cunt who wanted likes on their post and that. And that's why it's so, who
probably even knew that he wasn't being mean to his dogs, not being funny. Anyone who has a backbone or a spine or is actually a person who's worth time would actually go over and be like, what are you doing to your dog? I never approach anybody who I think looks dodgy, but the 2 times I almost got into a fight in recent years was over someone being mean to their dog.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm probably going to get the shit kicked out of me. But 2 times I went up to one of these, I suppose, travellers. Some call them gypsies, pikeys or whatever. But I call them travellers. And they're known for getting into trouble. And they're known for being rough customers. They like a fight.
Yeah.
This particular brand. And one of them was literally put his finger in the dog's mouth and was yanking on one side of its mouth to make it sit down.
Right.
Like fish hooking it.
Yeah, yeah.
That caused me to kick off at him. I didn't sit there and go, oh, let's get my camera out and take a picture from a distance just in case, and then put it up and tell everybody how fucking amazing and brave I am for showing this person off. You know what I mean? I'm not a fucking cowardly, spineless little cunt. But... you know what I mean? But this person, obviously, if the person who took a picture of your mate was obviously didn't know what was going on and just thought, oh, I bet I can get something out of this. And if he was hurting them, like this person supposedly thought they was, well, they obviously didn't care enough about the animal to go and help out.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And that just makes me sick because it's the repercussions of just that one comment, because you've made it public and because it was shared on Sittingbourne and because then they sent it to the police as well. It had Kent police asking, does anyone know this man, because blah blah blah, suspected dog abuse and stuff. And it's like, hang on a minute, everyone's jumping to the fucking conclusion. And do you know what? Someone actually said, who was with this man at the time, one of his friends who was with there, actually said, you didn't bother to stop and ask us what was going on. You just decided to get your 10 minutes of fame on Facebook. Thank you to the 2 other people who did come over, ask how we were doing, and gave us tips on how we could get him off the floor, basically. Because he was scared, he ended up biting his lead handle. So he had his lead in his... my
dog used to do that.
Yeah. So he had his lead handle in his mouth and then was cowering onto the floor by a railing. What are you supposed to do? You've got to get on the floor and try and make sure, you're scared. You don't want your dog to hurt itself. You don't want it to fucking run into the road or just cower. And it must be horrible for him as well. But the problem is the fact that this person had to deal with his dog in so much distress and, in the sun yesterday, during midday, everyone fucking walking around, it must be hard enough. Not the fact now, today, he woken up to a fucking lynching. And I think... Yeah. That's my point to everyone, before we close up. Just
a bunch of people that all think as well that they're being decent people as well.
Yeah,
that's their mentality. They think, oh, I'm going to find this bloke and beat the shit out of him because I'm such a good guy.
Yeah, and imagine if he was out about this one. Mate, say he wasn't on. They say he didn't see this thread come up on Facebook, and he just decided to walk his dog this morning and go, "Come on, then, boy, we'll go and do it again." Someone saw him and went, "Oh, he cunt," and fucking decked him, beat him up,
stole his dog.
Yeah, and you're like, "What the fuck? What the fuck happened?" I have no idea what's happened. And the bloke who stole the dog is Mr. Righteous in his eyes. He's like, "Yes, I fucking saved this dog," and it's like, "Actually, mate, you just committed street robbery."
Yeah, you literally mugged somebody.
Yeah, that ain't a fucking cool
thing. All because you looked at something on social media and went, well, that's a fact now because that falls in with my way of thinking. No need to second guess this or look more into it. Nah, fuck it.
And like we said, if people are abusing dogs, I'm all up for people fucking getting told off for it and having the ramifications that come with that. The repercussions that come with that. You deserve that. Absolutely, you deserve. If he was generally hurting his dog, if he had video evidence of him beating his dog, dragging his dog, then I get that. Drag the cunt out and take his dog off him, but don't get a picture.
But even then, it's not us to do that.
No,
there are people in place to do that for you to report. Vigilante justice isn't good, and I'm sorry, Netflix, you need to fuck off with your vigilante justice fucking documentaries of cunts online taking the crime into their own hands, because everyone thinks they can do it now.
Yeah.
And you lot are normalising it.
Yeah.
So between Facebook and Netflix, stop encouraging and fucking vigilante justice. There are people who are in control, who are qualified to deal with this stuff. We don't need cunts like you lot glorifying it, so some dickhead in his fucking underpants can wear them over the top of his trousers and go, oh, I'm a fucking super twat, I'm going to go around beating up people and stealing their dogs.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah. Precisely. And that's where we kind of, our nail guides, we just want to I just wanted to say, I would like to think that none of the listeners we have are fucking trolls and go out of their way and call shit. And we're quite lucky. Considering how controversial we can be, we don't get any fucking hate. We have good fans and good followers. But equally,
we're bound to get some.
Of course we are, and I hope we do.
This podcast ain't for them, so.
That's right. Don't listen then. It's not fucking hard, is it? If you don't like it, don't listen. But sometimes we have to have a bit of a sensible one, guys, because it's a crazy fucking world, and I don't want to talk about current times, but let's fucking just be a little bit kinder online, because everything's opening up again, and people are going back out. And
not a lot of things black and white.
No, and a lot of people haven't seen people for a year. Haven't had conversations with humans in person for a year, so they might be a bit fucking anxious. They might be a bit awkward because they might not have spoken to anyone. Just be nice. God, smoke some drugs for God's sake.
Yeah, everyone just be kind to each other. And you know what we need to start doing more? Minding our own fucking business.
Absolutely.
That's what people need to start doing more as well. It's just, I mean, if you see something, say something. But that something has to be something. Like you say, if you were walking past and that bloke had 1 foot up on his dog's back pushing down and was yanking with his arms on the lead, and you knew he was being cruel, you need straight away get your phone out, start videoing, stream it live on Facebook. So I can see you fucking abusing that dog. I'm calling the police. Get the police involved straight away. Don't try and take care of it yourself, for fuck's sake. No. And don't do it like a provocateur. Even post it later on to where you can only have your side of the story as well. Call people with this sort of stuff. If you hear domestic violence going on somewhere and you can hear shouting and banging, call the police just to check in on them. Don't go and deal with it yourself. There are people who are just, if you see something, say it. Report it to the people who are best qualified to deal with it. Don't do it your fucking self. No one wants to make a Netflix documentary about you because you're a fucking loser. And the only people who want to watch it are the other people who want to be little wannabe superheroes as well. And eventually you're all going to cause even worse ramifications. And this is when innocent people get hurt.
Yeah, precisely.
Because people can't be asked to do their own work. So mind your own business and fuck off.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And sort your own bloody life out as well, because I bet you anything, that person who took the picture of your mate or whatever and goes around, and these other people who go around doing shit online trying to be little heroes and little warriors, I bet their lives need sorting the fuck out. I bet they've got nothing else to do. There's like a million things they could be doing better, but no. Yeah.
It's because they think that's the best use of thetheir time, isn't it? That's why they think they're doing something
bringing
right.
Other people down will make me a good person. I'll be the hero.
Yeah, and it's like, come on, guys, fuck off. Yeah, mind your own, but get your own affairs in order before you go into anyone else's.
But if we're on a happy one towards the end of this one, how's your new dog?
Oh, he's awesome. Yeah, my little dog's awesome. Yeah, just so everyone knows, because last week, if you listened to part 2, I think it was, Alfie's name is, decided to bark really loud when Aaron was on a good roll. But I didn't hear it on the recording. It didn't come across as loud as it does in my fucking ear roll. So yeah, in the future, guys, you may hear a few little barks because we've got Alfie, who's a 6-year-old Jack Russell that we decided to adopt. And I
can hear a dog barking in the background. Ad must be torturing it.
You know that.
Don't listen to Tales from the Animal Kingdom. They torture animals.
Oh, more like torture from the Animal Kingdom. Oh, God. They hate dogs. That's what they said. They hate Russians. They hate dogs. They hate women. They're
rapists and paedophiles.
They're the worst type of people. Yeah.
Drug addicts.
Drug addicts as well. These mushroom heads. But yeah, no, he's good, man. He's good, and it was nice having a fucking chilled one this week. Sorry guys, we just fucking rambled a bit then, but
you have to.
Yeah, I think so. We have to. We've got a long one, so that'll keep everyone busy on your car journeys to and fro school and that, or whatever you kids do. Yeah, so I don't know what next week's going to bring yet because, like we said at the beginning, we don't plan fuck all. So until next time, boys and girls, look after yourself.
In a bit, doses.
Yes.